Leo, what's going on, dude? How's it going, Abigail? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Really as best I can be. I still got the flu.
Yeah, are you feeling a little bit better though?
Nah, not really. Well,
No,
that's all
not
right.
really.
Look,
Oh, that really sucks.
all right, Dayquil is kicking in. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Oh, good. Good. That's what I did too. It worked pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna give we'll probably start officially at like 6:05. Just give everyone a couple of minutes to rile all in.
Okay.
Did you have any questions that you wanted me to address first? I mean, hell, you're here
Um,
first.
I did. My boyfriend is actually on his way home, and I know he had some too. So I was kind of just gonna wait till he gets here. So that's okay.
All right, no
Yeah,
worries.
you can get to anyone else first. I'll wait until.
First time, huh? 2 years.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll probably get started here in about 5 minutes. And this is going to be open forum. So whatever you guys need help with, just let me know. We'll get it done. And then if I need to take a break, then Leo will take over for us. Isn't that right, Leo? Leo, I got to get you on mic, bro. It's all right. We're going to be on that VR starting next week. I didn't forget. You got to play Blatant Sorcery, Blood Trail. Beat Saber's all right if you want something non-violent. That's not really my style, but it's cool. Oh, and then there's one game. It's mixed reality. So when you put your headset on, you can actually see my avatar through your wall. It's really like you got to see it. And we can like shoot at each other. It's pretty cool. It's like laser tag, but over VR. Yeah, yeah. I'll send you a YouTube video on it. It's badass. And my goal is to get everyone from the team to get one, so we can all just Royal Rumble, just shoot each other, but in our living rooms. It'll be awesome. Nicholas, what's going on?
Hello.
How's it going, dude?
Going well. Preparing to. I'll have it on mute so I can just listen.
Oh yeah, no problem. For those of you that are rolling in, this is going to be, I mean, it's Friday, so we're going to do open forum Q&A. Any questions you have about anything that has to do with wholesaling, seller finance, deal sniper, cash deals, comping, doesn't matter. I'll do my best to answer. I'm just going to get started here in about 4 minutes. Let everybody just roll in. And since it's Friday, I'm not anticipating a whole bunch of people joining. So if it's a small class, then you guys just give me to yourself. And if you have to take off early, no big deal. This training is being recorded, so you guys can just listen to it later whenever you've got time. Sydney, what's going on?
What's up?
Nothing much. Dayquil's kicking in, so I'm feeling a little bit better, at least for the time being. So I'm like, let's get some training done.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, yeah. I'm tired of being sick though. This cough is getting on my nerve. Like I'm old, but I don't usually stay sick for that long. Usually 2-3 days tops, and I'm good. All right. So I really don't want to wait the extra 2 minutes. We're just sitting on here burning time. I know it's Friday night. So let's get started. Who's got a question that I can answer? This is anything within wholesaling. Seller finance,
All
cash, comping, doesn't matter. What's up?
right. So my question is, I like the whole creative financing thing. So if the realtor tells me, okay, yeah, the seller is okay with the creative financing, how fast or how much time do I have to find a buyer?
Typically, we ask for 14 business days. The minimum you should ask for is 7 business days. And the reason why we're
Okay.
doing that is because, one, we want to have as much time as we can to sell these properties. We still have to sell these properties. Yes, in certain markets, for certain types of deals, there are buyers just ready to go the moment we get it. And then, yes, we do have access to hedge funds that take deals, but those are in state specific places, and we usually reserve those for our clients anyway. So typically, we want 14 business days because that totals about 3 weeks to find a buyer if you count the weekends.
Okay.
The minimum
And
we
if I
want to do
can't-
is 7.
And if I can't find a buyer, what typically happens then?
You just send an email to the realtor and you say, hey, unfortunately, couldn't find a buyer, or none of my buyers wanted to take this deal down, so I'm going to have to cancel the contract. And that's it. You're done.
Then, so what about like earnest money and proof of funds and all that type of stuff? Do I have, so that I have, is that included within the 14 days as far as me finding the buyer? I got 14 days to do the earnest money deposit and the all that stuff, or what?
Absolutely. So when a realtor, because I'm always an advocate of be honest, be upfront with the realtor. So when a realtor asks for a proof of funds, usually they don't really understand that you're a wholesaler. So my approach is always to be upfront. Absolutely, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, I can get you a proof of funds. Here's what I'm looking for. I've got about 5 or 6 buyers that exclusively work with me and hire me to find these properties for them under these types of terms. So I need to get the deal locked up on contract for 14 days so I can secure my interest in this transaction. I'll pitch it to all of them. I know about 4 of them that'll be really interested in this deal. Once I've identified which one wants to move forward, I have no problem submitting their proof of funds and EMD 48 hours later.
Okay.
And that's the answer. Now, what's going to happen is one of 2 things. They're either going to say, okay, or they're going to say, I don't want to work with a wholesaler. And there's nothing you can do about that. Just follow up with them in a month if the property's still listed. Hey, I know you didn't really want to work with a wholesaler, but I still have buyers that are interested in deals under these terms. Let me know if you change your mind. That's my follow-up.
Okay.
Not too pushy, but hey, I'm here, and guess what? You still haven't sold it.
Is there a video or a
Hold on 1 second, dude.
Oh, my bad, bro. My
That's
bad.
okay. Nick, did that answer your question? Or Nicholas?
Yeah. You can move on. I have another one, but you can go ahead. I don't want the whole time. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so, Sean, thank you for all your help that you've been this week. First off, second of all, I was wondering on the calculator, is there a video where you can show me a good novation deal? I got about 10 deals in the about 10 wholesale leads. I'm just trying to navigate how to approach it.
Do you have any experience with novations at all? Do you understand how those work?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what exactly are you asking for?
Well,
The calculator, does it calculate it for you?
yeah, like how do I input my information, like the information that I got from the hot leads into Deal Sniper?
No. If you're going to be here's the thing. Deal Sniper is made for on-market deals. If the deal's already on market, you can't do a novation on it. It's already listed.
I got you. Okay.
As far as the calculator is concerned, all you have to do is put in the as-is value. So, for example, if this one, the as-is value was 325, you just put that number in, and then you click on novation down here. You put in your desired fee, which ours is usually 30 grand, and there's your offer price, 275,500.
Gotcha. Okay, so Deal Sniper is more or less for on-market properties, and we're just trying to basically either wholesale it or novate it or sell finance it, basically.
Yeah, well, you're trying to wholesale it, or I mean, there are a lot of people in the Discord community right now that are using Deal Sniper for their own portfolios.
I got you.
But yeah, I mean, primarily made for wholesaling because again, you can't novate it if it's on market because it's already on market.
I got you.
No,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
novation deal means that we're going to list it with a realtor. It's
I
already
got
listed
you.
with a realtor.
It's already listed. Yes, I understand that part. Okay. All right. We'll see how this. I'm gonna be sending out some offers this week, and let's see how it goes.
Sounds good, man. Good luck.
All
Hey
right. Thank
guys.
you.
Hello.
Okay. 1 second. Sydney had her hand up. What's up, Sydney?
Hey, I know we talked earlier about the whole contract thing, but like typically, how long would it take to get that contract request back?
What do you mean in regards to?
So you said you would send it back, right? Or a completed one? Hold on, let me go to our messages.
Do you need a contract sent out on your behalf?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, usually those happen after 9 o'clock at night.
Okay. Sounds good. I was
Yeah.
just trying to
So,
let the realtor know.
yeah, if you get someone that says yes, let's do it, and you need me to do the contract, and just so we're on the same page, the only contracts that I do are the subject to or the hybrid. If it's a seller finance or cash, the contract and the video is there in the contracts channel that shows you guys how to send that out.
Yeah,
So if
so I
it's a
saw
sub
that.
to, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's what it is. That one that we were
Perfect.
talking about. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as everyone kind of calms down the Discord and I shift my brain over to admin work, that's when I send out all the contracts. So
Cool.
whenever one comes through, if you guys need me to do the contract, just let the realtor know, hey, I'll have my team work on this and you'll have it first thing in the morning. Even if it's a Friday, I'll do it anyway.
Okay, sounds good. That's what I've been that's what I told him, but he's like, let's get it done, Okay.
Yeah, not a problem. If as long as I've got time after this training, I'll shoot it out a little bit earlier for you.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
No worries. William, what's up, dude?
How you doing?
Fantastic. How about
Yeah.
yourself?
Good. Yeah, I just got off the phone with a motivated seller for foreclosure, and they're
Okay.
talking about wanting to close as fast as tomorrow. But the issue is, I looked up the property, and the mortgage is like 39% equity. So I don't think a cash offer would be worth it. I'm trying to see what should I do in this scenario because it's like a lot of the mortgage is left.
Should be a subject too. Do you have the mortgage information?
It's 39%, and it's like 50,000 to $80,000 of the loan left.
Here's what I need. I would need to know if it's in pre-foreclosure, then
Yeah,
obviously they have arrears. So I would need to know how much in arrears are they behind. I need to
about
know the mortgage balance.
3,000.
So they're $3,000 behind.
Yes,
Okay. And then what's the mortgage balance?
the balance would be. It was on prop wire. It was. Shoot. On prop wire, this is. 1 second. It's on
Take your time.
55,143.
Okay. And does it say what the interest rate and the monthly payment is?
Monthly. It looks like 432.
Are you looking this up on PropWire?
Yes.
Okay, so you said 432. That's the principal and interest payment. So that's not including taxes and insurance. What are the taxes for this property?
I'm not sure. I don't know that one.
If you're on PropWire, there should be a button that says taxes. Or
Interest
tax
rate
info.
says 4.57.
Okay, hold on 1 second. You're in which Discord community?
Deal Sniper and
DM me the address.
okay, all right. Which one are you showing?
Yep, that's what
Okay.
everyone thinks my name is.
All right. All right, I'm gonna message you.
Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to take another question and then we'll come back to it, okay?
All right.
All right. Uncle Joe, what's up, man? What can I do for you?
Hey, brother. Listen, I need you to run a deal. I got that contract signed.
Nice. Good job. Did you ring the bell?
I did. I don't know that, man. I'm Brad. I don't know how to ring the bell, man. I don't know what I'm doing.
So whenever you get a chance in Discord, go to the announcements channel. It's on the left at the top, and there'll be a big bell with a bunch of emojis under it, and just click one.
Okay.
Just keeping a tally of people that get deals under contract using Deal Sniper.
Gotcha.
All right. So what do
Okay.
you need? You need me to dispo it out, or you need me to underwrite the deal?
I need you to underwrite it or look at it. Tell me what if I did it exactly right. I got it on the Deal Sniper pulled up, and I got Deal Machine, but I don't know if I'm putting the numbers in right. So I need you to look at it, make sure I did it right.
All right. Is this a seller or a seller finance?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Is it a seller to or a seller finance?
Seller finance. I can barely hear you. Maybe it's my phone.
Hold on. Maybe somebody else doesn't have their phone muted. Give me a second. Let me take a look.
That's me. I'm watching this. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, dude. It happens. All right. Can you hear me now, Uncle Joe?
I can hear you just fine.
All right. What's the purchase price?
126,500.
All right. What is the seller financed amount?
117,700.
Okay. What is the cash to seller?
8,800.
Okay. You want to make 10, obviously. What is Deal Sniper say the rent is?
Hang on, let me go back. 1257.
All right. And are we paying any of the realtor commissions?
No.
All right. Sounds good to me. All right. And what does Deal Sniper say the monthly payment's going to, or what did you guys agree to the monthly payment?
550.
Oh, 17%. Oh, wait, I need the tax and insurance. Hold on. I almost jumped the gun. What are the taxes and insurance?
Taxes is 1446.
Uh-oh. That's good. Okay. What's the insurance?
483.
Oh, man. Yeah, this feels great. Look at that. 23% cash on cash return. That's phenomenal. And
Really?
your entry fee is under 20% total. Yeah, this is a slam dunk deal. This is a banger.
Good job. Good job, Uncle Joe.
Yeah, good job to you, man. Yeah, ring that damn bell.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you, what would it be if I wanted to make 15,000? Is that possible?
That's possible. Let's see. If we
How do-
charge 15,000 for the deal. Now, I want to make this very clear, especially to newer people. We can charge whatever we want, but we can't make people buy at that price. The investors are still going to haggle with us and say that they can only do, 12. So this is still just a desired assignment fee, not a guaranteed assignment fee. Just keep that in mind. That kicks you up to 18.8. You're still under 20. And it did drop your cash on cash return from 23 to 18. So typically the hierarchy is 10 to 12, pretty good. 12 to 15, you got a lot of people interested. Anything above 20, you're probably getting to a bidding war with local buyers once they see the deal. And then anything above 25 is just, bloody water with sharks. So you could do it. You
So
could
let's say
definitely
we
do it. The
change
deal
that.
still works.
So let's say we changed it to 12,000. What would that number be? How are you adjusting those numbers? Okay, I see that over there.
Oh, all I'm doing is changing the desired assignment fee.
Okay, where that monthly payment that you got of 326, where'd that come from?
Oh, this is what it should be. So if we did $117,700 loan at 0% amortized over 30 years, the monthly payment should be $326.94. But Deal Sniper is obviously giving more than that, so we can make it more enticing for the seller to want to take the deal.
Okay, so I have to put in that 30 on the amortization. I've got to put that in there.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, no, because when you
Okay,
get to this page here, this is when you're going to put in the Deal Sniper number. It's on this box. I mean, this one here, you can't even change this. Oh, you want me to make it bigger? That's right. I remember that. Hold on. Is that better?
Okay. Perfect. That's perfect.
So you can't, I'm typing and I can't change that number. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to do anything because it's doing the actual math from here to here. So it's calculating all these. But on this tab, this is where you're going to put in the Deal Sniper rent that it says to give them, or the monthly payment it says to give them.
Okay.
So if we drop it down to 12,000, you got a 17% total entry fee with a 21% cash on cash return. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. All right, we'll
That's pretty
stick
good.
there.
You want to stick
We'll
at 12?
We'll
So-
stick at 12.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the. Did I put it in here? Hold on. Yep. You're gonna go to the forms and docs channel. That's towards the bottom on the left.
Hold on,
And
let me write this down because I'm actually on my. I can't. Where's my pen go? Okay, tell me again. Where I go to where?
So you're gonna go to the forms and docs channel. It's on the left towards the bottom in Discord.
Okay.
And as soon as you click on that, you will see dispoform.pdf. You're going to click on that. It'll download to your computer, and then you just fill it in and DM it to me. And right below that form, there's a video of how to fill it out in case you have any
Okay.
questions.
All
So
right.
once you fill that out, just DM it to me. Drop it in Discord, and then my team will start to dispo the deal for you the very next day.
Got you, brother. Got you, brother. Let me ask you this. Let's say hypothetically, if I had a deal and I wanted to do it myself,
Mhm.
how do you go to Facebook Marketplace and do all of that? Is there a video that teaches you that?
I don't. I'm working on a series to break down how to dispo a deal, but every time we get a bunch of new members, someone asks a question that I haven't answered yet, and I got to get to that first. And
Got you.
dispoing a deal is just as involved as getting it under contract. So it's a long video series. If you think about how many videos I have on my channel, I'm trying to condense that amount of information into like 5 or 6 videos. But short story, I will absolutely, and this goes for everyone, anyone in any community that I'm working with. If you send me a deal and you want me to dispo the deal out with my team, we'll do that. But I'll also give you the marketing material that we're going to use so you can try and dispo the deal out too. And if you get a buyer before we do, well, then you didn't need us on that deal. Congratulations. You get to keep the whole thing. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I just want you guys to get paid.
All right, say that again now. Say that part again now.
So the disposition form that you send to me,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to use that to create marketing material for your deal. The same marketing material that my team is going to use to try and find a buyer to buy it.
Uh-huh.
I will give you a copy of the same marketing material so that if you want to post it on Facebook, in Facebook marketplaces, or in real estate investment groups, you can do that. So if you find a buyer before my team does, well, then you get to keep 100% of the deal.
Okay,
Like,
perfect.
good job. Doesn't
All right,
matter to
thank
me.
you, brother.
I just want you guys to be paid. I don't care about shit else.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to send this over to you right now.
Absolutely. Watch that video and make sure you fill it out properly, because if you don't, it'll mess up making the dispo material. It'll just
Got
take
you.
longer.
Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. Not a problem. Abigail, what's going on?
Okay, so I was talking to a realtor. And I was kind of I'm trying, I haven't gave her an offer yet because I'm not really sure.
Okay.
So the price that this house is listed for on Redfin is $179,900.
Okay.
The price that Deal Sniper gave me, the purchase price is $197,000.
Okay.
And the realtor said that the seller hasn't accepted anything below 150,000. So what should I leave my purchase price as it is, like 197,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
If a seller is willing to do creative financing, because you got to remember, some of you that are new to creative financing but maybe knows how cash deals work, it's very simple on cash deals. You buy it for 100, you sell it for 110. But
Okay.
on creative deals, the mindset of the end buyer is different. A cash buyer for a normal cash deal, they're going to flip it. They're going to
Okay.
put some money into it. They're going to flip it, take the profit, and go to another property. On a creative deal, the buyers who buy those, they're going to buy and hold it because they want that cash flow coming in every month. They're trying to build their portfolio. So they
Right.
don't really care how much the price costs. I mean, it needs to be within reason, obviously. We're not going to give someone $1 million for a $100,000 house.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of things, the buyer doesn't really care how much the house costs as long as it cash flows and the entry fee was cheaper than if they went to a bank. So
Okay.
yeah, I would leave it at the 197. If they're willing
Okay.
to take terms, shit, give them 200. I don't care.
Damn right. Okay. And then so the assignment fee.
Mhm.
I know that last time that like we were in this, you said, Deal Sniper kind of lowers it, like the assignment fee. What it gave me was like $5,800.
Mhm.
What would you like? Can I make it go to 10,000? Can I make
Yeah.
it go to 15,000?
Yeah,
Or is
as long as the deal still works to fit our parameters. And what I mean by that is as long as, like, we'll take this one here, right? I always shoot for 10, but let's say he
okay,
wanted 20 on this
okay,
deal, right? And then I go to seller financing. This is above 20%. So $20,000 is too much. It works for the
okay,
cash on cash return. That's fine. But this doesn't work. You have to make both of these numbers work.
okay,
And it's just like doing the payment here where you keep raising it up gradually until that gets to 10 and that's as
right,
high as you can go. Same thing here. All right, well, what if he wants 18,000? Yeah, still a little too high. And here's the other thing too. I do want you guys to make your money. I really want you guys to make your money. That's my goal, and that's the only reason why I give all my time to this. But I still want you guys to have the mindset where you're going to get your millions over volume, not one deal. Because
okay,
the lower this number is, the more attractive it is to an investor, especially
right,
because the lower this number is, the higher that number goes.
okay,
And it's just going to make the deal sell that much faster, that much easier, to the point where if you're locking them up at reasonable assignment fees or reasonable entry percentages, you're selling a bunch of them. So you're making your money on
okay,
volume instead of just one deal. But yeah, 18 is too high. It's probably 17.5, but I'm just going to go to 17.
okay,
Yeah, I mean, there you go. It's right underneath. So
okay,
you
perfect.
could, is it possible to sell this deal? Yes. But an investor would much rather do, I mean, hell, even if we dropped it to 15, I think it drops to, nah, it must have done that wrong. Yeah, I did 1500. Yeah, even that's better than the 18,000 or the 17,000. So
Okay,
if there's two identical properties and the cash on cash return is the same, the purchase price is the same, but the entry fee is 2% or 1% lower, the investor's going to buy the one that's lower.
okay. See, that makes sense. And then like as I'm giving this realtor my offer, do I like right off the bat tell them, what my estimate fee is?
No, no. For those
Okay,
of you
don't
that are
do that.
new, no one should know, no one but me and or the Dispo team that you're working with, if it's not me, should ever know how much you're trying to make on the deal. Not the realtor,
Okay,
not the seller, not the buyer.
okay,
If you guys go to Dispo this deal on your own, then you don't need to tell the buyer how much you're making on the deal because you're just giving away your leverage.
right. Okay.
None of
I
their
kind of
business.
figured that, but yeah, I wanted to clear that up.
No, it's all
Um,
good.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's all I said was that's all good.
Oh, okay. Do you have any other questions right now?
What was I saying?
Oh, and
Mm.
I guess so like I'm texting this realtor when I give them the offer, should I
Mhm.
just do like the offer summary that Deal Sniper gives me? Like copy it and send that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
And then if you're going to do it that way, what we're finding is that you need to also include, hey, just so we're on the same page, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, with this offer, I have no problem if you want to double end the deal. I'll cover the 3% buyer's cost. And if I can incorporate it into the deal, if it'll fit, I'll cover the seller's commission, your commission with the seller also.
Okay.
And then that's when you just use the calculator and you put that number, however much they're charging. I mean, if they agree to it, then you're going to have to ask them, hey, what are you actually charging? Usually it's going to be at most 6%, and it'll be 6%
Okay.
of the purchase price. And you
Okay.
just add that here. But here's the thing. Again, back to if you're trying to make money, let's say this one's 6%. Let's see, what is that? 6, 7, 75. We'll call it 7,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to seller finance, look at that. It's 21.27%. So in order for you to make the deal work, this has to come down.
Okay.
And then you just walk it down until, 20%. I mean, you can go, you can go 7 if you really wanted to make it fit even more. But the only thing that matters is that this number is under 20%. And the more under 20% it is, the more attractive it is for an investor.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why I always tell people, ideally, if we're covering the seller's, or I'm sorry, the realtor's commission, we're only covering the buyer side, which is going to be max 3%.
Okay. Okay,
Because
that
if
makes
I
sense.
drop this back down to 36.50 and then kick this back up to 10, we should be good. Yeah, see, we're
Yep.
good.
Right. Okay, good.
So just kind of keep that in mind. There's a lot of moving parts. If we're not paying the realtor commission, then you can go up to whatever you want to as far as your down payment. Or I'm sorry, as far as your assignment fee. Just make sure
Okay.
it's attractive.
Okay. And then I think, you don't have anything right now?
No, I don't have
Okay.
anything.
Okay, so I
That's
think
about
that's
it.
kind of it for right now.
Yeah. And
Sounds
then we
good.
got the calculator on Discord, right?
Yeah, this is on Discord. It's on the link, and then all you have to do is when you download it, it'll be view only. Don't request access. Just pick file and go to make copy.
Okay.
You'll
Okay.
have your own copy to work with.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Nicholas,
you.
what's up?
Hey, so I just wanted to clarify my understanding of how this, which deal to do, or how this whole thing works.
Sure.
So if the property is owned free and clear, creative financing is probably the way to go. But if there is a mortgage, then it's a subject to situation. Is that correct?
That is correct, unless they are asking for a purchase price significantly higher than the mortgage balance. Because I'll give you a good example. Let's say they have a mortgage balance of $100,000 and they have the property listed for 150, right?
Mhm.
That's probably going to be a subject to. But if they have a $100,000 mortgage and they're selling the house for $300,000, that's going to be a hybrid. That's where we're going to do a combination of a seller finance plus a subject to deal.
Okay. So on the initial message going out, so should I find out if they have a mortgage and submit the deal based on the situation, or the offer based on their situation, or should I just send that general creative financing offer out?
You send the general creative financing offer out, and here's why. 9 times out of 10, if the seller or the realtor will entertain a creative offer, they'll let you know, hey, this deal doesn't work because there's a mortgage. Or
Okay.
wish we could take something like that, but this one's got a mortgage. And then your response should be something along the lines of, oh, no problem. I didn't realize this property had a mortgage. I'll tell you what, if you can give me the approximate mortgage balance, interest rate, and monthly payment, I'll send you a new offer in 15 minutes covering that mortgage also. And then you just underwrite the deal using the calculator and you redo the numbers and send it.
Okay.
When the seller or the realtor tells you that there's a mortgage, don't put it back into Deal Sniper and then click yes, they have a mortgage, and then put that in. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because Deal Sniper doesn't allow you to edit the numbers the way that you need to. It also doesn't take into consideration that this could be a hybrid deal. So then if you send an offer based off of Deal Sniper, if you click yes, they have a mortgage, and then input that information, it could very well be a lowball offer. So you have to look at how much they're selling the house for versus how much their mortgage balance is. If it's a big gap, it's a hybrid. Use the calculator to calculate that deal.
Okay. Awesome. And I have another question. Is more of a technical. It's probably a little early because you just launched this thing. But for make things go faster, are you looking into any integrations with platforms like Go High Level?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of people that are in the community that are also clients from another thing that I do, and they already have a Go High Level CRM. You're just manually entering it in as a new lead. But I always recommend people, if you don't have to pay for it, don't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a video on the Discord in the contracts channel showing people how to create a Google Sheet to track all these leads for follow-up. So you can pay for a CRM, but you really don't have to.
Yeah, I already have it. So I'm already selling SaaS myself. So I
As
figured since I
far as
already had
like
it, I
an
might see if I can incorporate it.
as far as an automated integration, like once you put the address in and run the deal, it'll automatically send to go high level. I do not believe that exists yet, but if we get
Okay.
enough demand for it, then we'll build it.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And I had one more question, but it's escaping me right now, so I'm gonna put my hand down till I remember.
Okay, no worries. Just let me know when you got it.
All right, thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? Really?
Hey Sean, I do have a question.
What's up, James?
Can you show me on the deal machine calculator when you put an interest rate on the payment, where does it show what when I put it in, I don't see anything change.
You're talking about on the seller financing side?
Yeah, if you put it on interest rate right there, like put 5% or something, where does it show me what it did?
Right here. You just changed it from 3 something to 631. If I
Oh,
change
it's
it
on this one.
to
Okay, shoot. I was looking at the other one. I never saw it on the
Yeah.
other tab.
Oh, no, here you you manually put it in. Like it'll carry it over, but it doesn't do the math here because we know that Deal Sniper is going to give you a different monthly payment anyway. So we allow you guys to edit that.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, I said no. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Okay, I don't remember who it is, so I apologize in advance, but who DM'd me that address? Nobody? Maybe he had to get off the call. All right. Abigail, your hand's up. Do you have another question?
No, I'm sorry. I forgot to take it away.
No, no worries. It happens. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Because this was supposed to be just open forum. I don't have a plan for this with it being Friday night. So if that's all you guys got, then we can go ahead and hop off.
Yeah, question. So the credit financing offers initially don't have interest.
Correct.
What's the reason for that? Just so I understand.
Because typically we're offering $30,000 over asking on a property that hasn't sold in 90 plus days. So that's more of the direct way to answer that question. Here, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'll use this one, whatever this is. Oh, nice floor. I don't like those things. Those things are original. So if I put this one into Deal Sniper, they have it listed for 280,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now this one's been on market 24 days, so normally I wouldn't do this one. But they have it listed for 280,000, but we're going to offer them $308,000. So the reason why we want to have a 0% interest rate payment is because we're giving them so much over asking. We're almost building whatever interest they would have gotten throughout the length of the term into the purchase price, and then giving them a large portion of that, in this case, $21,500 at closing in their pocket. So they're getting it up front, or it's built into the deal.
All right. And this I imagine this strategy doesn't work that well with with foreclosures where there's a lot of money in the rear.
It can absolutely work on a pre-foreclosure. The only thing that you have to worry about is much like this deal that I was about to do. So this one has a mortgage balance. It's in pre-foreclosure. It has a mortgage balance of $56,000. They're in arrear $3,000, and the arrears just basically come out of the down payment. So what you have to be careful for is if the arrears or down payment is higher than the 10% that we can actually give them. And if it is higher, how much higher is it? And then because with a subject to, if the property's in relatively decent shape, the cash on cash return is good. If it's just a straight sub 2, sometimes, not all the times, sometimes you can bend the rules when it comes to the actual down payment going to the seller, because a lot of investors realize that's not really going to the seller. That's probably what they're in arrears. They know it's a pre-foreclosure, so they're a little more lenient.
Okay.
But that's all coming out of the down payment that goes to the seller. So in this situation, the most we could give them is $5,600 as a down payment. And if they were in arrears $10,000, we couldn't do the deal. Or The seller would have to come to the closing table with the difference.
Okay. And how we make our money is with that down payment. So if the down payment is, let's say, 20,000, we're going to advertise it or try to get it on the try to sell it to somebody else for 30,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we are going to tack our fee onto the down payment and then subsequently the purchase price. So in this situation, I'll use this one for example. The actual purchase price is 126,500, but that's for the seller. For the buyer, they're buying it for 136,500, and instead of $10,000 down, they're giving us $8,000 down because our assignment fee on this one's $8,000.
Gotcha. And the balloon. Like, can you go into detail about how that type of situation works? Where there's a balloon baked into the deal?
Absolutely. So there's no place to put the balloon on the contract, or I'm sorry, on the calculator. The balloon only goes on the contract because it's not going to affect the numbers. The balloon basically says, so let's do this deal. Let's have everyone, or at least whoever wants to follow along, bust out their calculator. So this deal has, I think it was $550. Yep, $550 a month. So if I go to my calculator right now on my cell phone and I do the total purchase price, which is $136,500, because remember that's for the including everything. $136,500. I'm going to subtract the down payment, which is $18,800. And what's left is exactly what the seller financing amount is, $117,700. So now I need to figure out what is $550 per year. So $550 times 12 is $6,600 per year. And let's say this is on a 10-year balloon. So we take that number and we multiply it by 10. That's $66,000. So that means that when the 10-year balloon is done, the investor owes the seller a check for $51,700. That's what a balloon is. It means we're going to pay you every single month, and then once the balloon is due, we'll pay you whatever we owe you all in one lump sum. That does not have anything to do with the amortization. The amortization is just the term, how long the payments would be stretched out for if there was no balloon. So whatever you guys do not think that amortization means balloon, and if it's a 10-year balloon, you need to change this number because you're shortening the amount of time you have to pay off the $117,700. So for example, if I put in half at 15 years, it doubles the payment because we cut the time in half. If I do a 10-year balloon, now we're at $980 because we're cutting down the amount of time we have to pay back that debt. So we have to make the payments bigger. That's not the same as a balloon.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yes. Okay. All right, cool. That does it for me. Am I the only one still in here, or is there other people?
Oh, no, there's still like
Okay.
12, 13 people in here.
All right, let somebody else answer that. I'll probably think of something else in the next 5 minutes or so. So we can go ahead and move on. Thank you.
No worries. CM Legacy Estate. I know that. Who is that?
Hi, it's me, Alina.
Oh, what's up, Alina? What do you need?
I just have a question. So when I'm starting to post like a property on Facebook and everything, I was a little hesitant about like putting the property address just because if you look at Zillow, like you could see how cheap it's going for on Zillow. Like, does that matter or?
No, don't ever put the address when you're
Okay.
marketing the deal on Facebook. Even for us, my team, we use InvestorLift, we use Investor Base, we use a bunch of stuff. Even our in-house buyers, we don't send them the address. My marketing material for disposition just has the city, state, zip code. That's it.
Okay, so the city, state, and zip code?
Yeah, and then if anyone is interested, and then you vet them out, you talk to them, you make sure essentially that they're not another wholesaler trying to daisy chain your deal, then you can give them the address.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like it's right to put the address here, so I just didn't. But
Yeah, good
that
for you. Good instincts.
okay. Alrighty, that was all.
No worries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah. So I actually wanted to have you explain to me again the you said like after I the offer about the double end of the deal.
Oh, for the realtor's commission?
Yes. Yes.
You want me to tell you like what to say?
Um,
Like how to
I
word
don't know.
it?
I kind of wrote, yeah, I guess so. Because I kind of
So,
wrote down what you said before, but I didn't get it all.
okay, which part do you have?
I just have no problem if you want to double end the deal. That's all I
Oh,
really got.
okay. So what you guys want to make the realtor understand, especially in the beginning, whether you're just sending the offer or they respond back, what is this or whatever, you answer them. And then below that, you say something along the lines of, hey, FYI, just so you know, however you guys normally talk, just
Uh-huh.
so we're on the same page, I'm not looking to cut you out of this deal. Far from it. Chances are I'll probably be paying your commission. So if you want to double end the deal, I
Uh-huh.
have no problem with that. Just let me know what percentage you're charging.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
And
See
what
that?
you just said to the realtor in realtor talk is, hey, if you want to charge double on this deal for representing the buyer and the seller, that's fine with me. I'll pay it, which
Okay.
is music to their ears.
Right.
It also
Okay.
will help them to push the deal to the seller because even though they're getting a lower lump sum at closing, they don't have to pull any realtor commissions out of it because the buyer's going to pay it. So that'll further entice them to push the deal to their seller, assuming the seller is even open to creative financing at all.
Okay.
When do we get to the point to where we let them know that we're a wholesaler? That's when we get to the purchase and assignment contract.
Yeah, I mean, typically a good realtor will ask for a POF.
Okay.
That's proof of funds. And I don't know if any of you guys know this. I've seen some, I'm going to hope they're jokes in the Discord channel about POFs. It is so illegal after January 1st to send out a fake or a invalid POF to a realtor or to anyone. They will literally prosecute you now. So don't do it. All these people are like, oh, I'll get you a POF. Don't do that. It's not worth it. Here's what you say to a realtor when they ask for a POF, and this is also how you introduce the fact that you're a wholesaler. So if they ask, hey, we need a POF with this offer, no problem. I'll tell you what, I've got 8 buyers. I've got 8 buyers in Birmingham that exclusively go through me. They literally hire me to find deals like this. And I know for a fact, at least 5 of them would be interested in this deal under these terms or similar. So what I'm looking to do is get this under contract for 14 days. All I need is 2 weeks. And use 2 weeks instead of 14 days. Because 2 weeks, even though it's the same thing, 2 is a smaller number than 14. So it's psychological. So all I need is 2 weeks so I can secure my interest in this transaction. Realtors like the word transaction, not deal. So that I can secure my interest in this transaction. I will get this over to my buyers. As soon as I identify which one of them wants to move forward, I will absolutely give you their proof of funds and submit EMD in 48 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's how you answer that question like a thug. Because here's the thing, it's going to identify one of 2 things every time, if they're on board or not. They're either going to be okay with that and they're going to work with you, or they're not going to be okay with that and they're going to tell you to kick rocks. Either way, that's the fastest way to figure out if you're wasting your time. Because
Okay.
some people don't want to work with wholesalers and you can't really make them. But what I would do is if they say no, put their ass on the Google sheet and follow up with them in a month if that house still isn't sold. Hey, man, I see this house is still listed. I know you were kind of opposed to working with wholesalers, but at this point, what have you got to lose? Can I give it my buyers a shot? And that's it. Super light, but kind of direct. Like, hey man, you still got this thing listed. You need some help? That kind of deal.
Okay. All right. Thanks, huh?
No problem. Nicholas, what's up?
Okay, so two other questions. You went over in the video, I believe, or somebody did, about the market, choosing populations over 400 and
Over 500,000, at least
over
half a
half a
million.
million. Yeah, and with the median home value of it was like what, 300 or 200?
No. As far as the market you're choosing, you don't have to determine the median home value. What I'm saying is, don't put offers in on properties more than 350,000. That's all.
Okay.
And the reason why you want to do that, just so everyone's on the same page, because I know a lot of times it's easy for me, who knows how to do this shit, to tell you guys, hey, just don't do this. And you're like, well, why? I'm gonna tell you why right now. The buyer pool, the people who are investors who have the money to buy your deals, more of them will have the 20% max entry fee on a $350,000 home than will have the 20% max entry fee on like a $700,000 home. That's a drastically different number. So there are buyers who can buy that all day long, but there's not as many of those as the ones that can buy the cheaper properties. On a $100,000 home, on a $100,000 deal, even if you max it out at 20% total entry fee, that's only 20 grand. On a $500,000 home, that's quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So the amount of buyers that can take that down versus the ones that can take down the 20 grand is bigger. That's why I always suggest keep it small. You don't have to. If it's a good deal, it's a good deal. But the buyer pool that's available to buy it is obviously going to be smaller the more expensive it is.
Okay. And the primary way you find these buyers is through Facebook groups?
For you guys, yes. Yeah, for you guys, I would. So for instance, if there's a deal in Birmingham that you got locked up, then I would go to Facebook and I would go to groups and I would type in Birmingham investor groups, Birmingham real estate, Birmingham, anything that has to do with houses, any synonym that you can think of, and join every single group that pops up. And then you create your marketing material, which is just a fancy way of saying you're making a flyer advertising your property, and then you post it. Now, what you have to watch out for are there's going to be other wholesalers in that group that think that they can daisy chain your deal. What that means is they tell you that they're the buyer. They're not, but they tell you that they are. And then they're going to go market it to whoever they can market it for. And they're going to try and sell it for a little bit more than what you're selling it for. The problem with that is that if you don't realize that's what's going on, then you're burning your inspection period because you think you have a buyer. And then the day before the deal's supposed to close, they just disappear. They ghost you. Now you're in a pickle with the seller. So that's why a lot of people use things like Investor Lift, Investor Base, and their in-house buyers, because those buyers have already been vetted out, or we know for a fact they're not wholesalers. The only problem with those services is that they're expensive. Investor Lift is like $5,000-$7,000. We pay $7,000 a month. And then Investor Base, I believe, is like $5,800, $6,000 a month. But we know that the people we're talking to that are interested in our properties are actual buyers.
Okay. All right, that answers that question. Do I have any other? I don't think I do.
All right, no problem. Chris, what's up, man? You're welcome.
Yeah, for new guys like me who usually bring the deal back to you for a JV, right? At least the first couple of days. And that's one question. Secondly, on the sniper deal, is it possible to always submit the proposal or the offer to the realtor directly, or do I have to go email them directly from my email?
Oh, yeah. So let me answer your question in order. First things first, yes, you can always JV your deals with us. That's not a problem. It's a 60-40 split. You keep 60%. We pay my disposition team 40% for getting the deal sold. Second thing, no, you're going to have to copy and paste or click the copy button that's in the corner of the letter that Deal Sniper generates for you. And you're going to have to use your own email to send it out. So you copy it from Deal Sniper, paste it into your own email. Make sure you put the realtor's name, your contact information at the bottom, and hit send.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Abigail, do you have another question, or did you leave the button on again? Sorry.
Yes, 1 second. Hold on. The fire alarm's going off.
What you guys making? Chicken?
No, someone took a shower. It was real steamy. Okay. So,
Whoa. You guys got
yeah, I
special
know,
fire
right?
alarm.
Just to clarify, what do we tell the realtor that we are wholesaler upfront or wait until we get to the contract?
I would always be upfront and honest.
Okay.
Now, there's a time to do that.
Okay.
Depending on your strategy on how you're sending these offers off. Like I have one guy in the community and he cracked the code a little bit. He puts it on the Deal Sniper email. So he copies what Deal Sniper generates, puts his name in, the realtor's name, all that stuff. And then below everything that Deal Sniper generates, he says, hey, just so we're on the same page. Yes, I am a wholesaler. I do have 8 buyers exclusive, my spiel for that. I have 8 buyers exclusive work for me. If you're interested in double ending the deal, you can absolutely represent me as the buyer. I'll not only cover your commission for the buyer side, but if I can fit it into the deal, I'll cover the seller's commission or at least a portion of it.
Okay.
He's very upfront with his shit. And he says that he's getting a pretty decent response. So much so that we're thinking about adding it to Deal Sniper. The only reason why we haven't is because he's a little, I don't want to say it more advanced than you guys. That sounds kind of negative, but he's been wholesaling for a while. He was just doing cash, but he's used to talking to realtors.
Right.
A lot of you guys aren't. So if they start questioning you or grilling you about, being a wholesaler and what are you going to do if you guys don't have the answer, then I'm kind of putting you guys in a corner. That's the only reason why we haven't added that yet as a default.
Okay.
But if you want to make your own, absolutely. And after this training is done, I saw your message, whoever did that, I will type out what he says and I'll put it in the main chat and I'll just tag everybody.
Perfect. That would be great. So I did already make an offer to a realtor. I didn't say that I was a wholesaler. She did respond with thank you, I will be in touch. Should I when she and if she contacts me again, should I then tell her I'm a wholesaler? Or should I just, tell her right now? And
I
just
would wait until, because it's always better, in my opinion. Keep in mind, I'm older. But in my opinion, I think it's better to do things either face-to-face or over the phone because you can't read someone. I mean, you already don't have a lot over the phone. You can only go by their voice, their tone.
Right.
So it's not like you can see them roll their eyes or something like that.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I need as much information as I can so I know how to combat that. And to be on the phone with someone is ideal because if they do an audible sigh or they make some sort of noise, at least you can hear it and you know where they're at.
Right. Exactly.
And you also have them on the spot. You can send them a text message and they can take an hour to think about what they want to say or how they want to tell you no or ghost you or whatever. And me personally, I'd rather be told no than ghosted because if I'm ghosted, I don't know what the hell happened. At least if someone tells me no, okay, cool. I know where I stand.
Yes.
So yeah, in my opinion, talk to them on the phone. Let them know if it's a good realtor, they're going to ask you for a POF. If they ask you for a POF, that's when you tell them the same spiel that I always say. Yep, I can do that. Give me 14 days. I'll work with I know you guys think it sounds, or maybe you do. I don't know. Part of me does. I know it sounds corny to give a number of how many buyers you have. Do that because the more specific you sound, the more confident you sound, the more competent you sound. So by letting them know, it doesn't matter what the number is. I usually like to keep it less than 10. If it's a really big area, maybe I'll kick it up to 12, 13. I don't want to say 50. I don't want to say 20. That's too much. People can't wrap their heads around that. Right. But if I tell someone, hey, look, I've got 7 buyers that hire me to find these properties for them. And I know for a fact, if I can get this deal at these terms or pretty close, I know for a fact 4 of them that'll be interested. Give me 2 weeks. Let me vet them out. As soon as I identify which one wants to move forward, I'll submit your EMD. I'll give you proof of funds or whatever else the fuck you want.
Right. Okay. That sounds really good.
That's the kind of tone you got to have.
Okay. Yeah. See, I just need to really practice on how to you have to
not care.
Okay.
Leo, back me up. You have to absolutely, and this is for all you guys. Part of the reason why I'm so good at this is because I've messed up more than most. Like I really, really have. I've done some dumb stuff on the phone talking to sellers, realtors, title companies. I've messed up. But the bigger reason why I'm good at this is because I don't give a damn. I just
Mhm.
don't. If I close the deal, great. If I don't close the deal, I'll get the next
Oh
one.
wow.
Like
Right.
I just don't care. And that comes through so much in my tone, in how I deliver the information. I'm not triggering any salesperson resistance because I don't sound needy. I'm not thirsty at all. Look, you can take the deal if you want, or you can keep doing the same shit you've been doing. No matter to me. I'm either going to buy your house or I'm going to offer the same amount of money to your neighbor. That's my
Okay.
attitude. Like
Okay, I like that.
that helps a lot. It really, really does to sell the confidence aspect of it. And if a real estate agent says no, just circle back in a month if it's still listed. If it's not listed anymore, see if it's sold. If it didn't sell, skip trace the number and call the deal. It just means the listing expired and offer
Okay.
it to the seller.
Okay, that sounds really good.
No problem.
And
Okay,
about the east
thank you.
side too, right? We do docs, right?
Say that one more time.
And about the east side too, right? The electric sign, we do
Yeah.
docs. Right?
Doc Hub is the one that I like. Deal Sniper, or not Deal Sniper. DocuSign, any variation, they're all the same. They're
Okay.
literally all the same. Doc Hub is the one that I can help you guys with if you get stuck somewhere, because that's the one that I know. But they're all
Okay.
the same. I think they all cost the same too.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you.
No problem. Nicholas, what's up?
Yeah. So, from your experience, what is it? I think I already know the answer to this, but I just want to kind of verify. From your experience, what seems to be what gets the best results? Calling the targeting the real estate agents or calling FISBOs from the Zillow?
Say that one more time. I didn't understand the question.
Yeah. Which one has gotten you more results? And I think I already know the answer. Dealing with the real estate agents on really old, listings like 90 days, like we're doing, or calling the FISBO list.
Oh,
FISBO.
that depends on your ability to explain creative financing. A lot of times, even if a realtor is not 100% familiar with subject to hybrids or even seller financing, which is a pretty easy concept to understand once you really know how it works, they still kind of get it. And it's hit or miss with a FISBO. You can call a for sale by owner and they're a financial advisor and they 100% get it. It all depends. If you're super comfortable with being able to break seller financing or creative financing as a whole down to where anyone can understand it, yeah, call FISBOs. If you're not, but you understand the gist of it enough to explain it to someone else who also knows how it works, focus on realtors.
Okay. I think I'm going to do real estate agents. Okay. I had another question. Those hybrid deals, do you have like examples of those hybrid deals? Like when there's, let's say it's a foreclosure and there's money in the rears, there's a balloon payment, like all the different types of different ways that the deal can go down. Do you have like examples that you can kind of like demonstrate and kind of run through?
The only thing, I mean, yeah, I can run an example right now of a hybrid that wouldn't work. But when you say wouldn't work, you mean wouldn't work for an investor, right?
Well, I'm just saying, just how the structure, basically different how different deals are structured. When there's a loan in place that's in the rears, when the person wants a balloon payment, just different ways it can kind of go. That way, I have a better understanding when I'm talking to people, how I can present different stuff.
Sure. Yeah, we can run through one. So subject to, and you let me know if I'm literally just going to go through each one and you let
Okay.
me know if I'm answering your question or if I'm not. Just go ahead and cut me off.
Okay.
So a subject to is very simple. Let's say they have a mortgage balance of $78,000. Their monthly payment is $500. Their interest rate is 4%. On the interest rate, we really don't want to be too much higher than current market rates.
Okay.
So I got a couple of questions today, for example, of people asking me, hey, this seller said that they're interested, but they have a hard money loan. Can we do it? No, because a hard money loan, a private money loan usually carry a 12 to 14% interest rate. And they're 5 to 7 year terms.
Right.
So that monthly payment blows the cash on cash out of the water. It's not going to work.
Right.
So as long as that's not the situation, again, sub current market interest rates, you're good. Cash to seller is always going to be a maximum of 10% of the actual purchase price, or in this case, the loan amount. We obviously want to make at least 10. And then this one, I'm just going to do 2,500 across the board. And I'll just say that we're going to cover the realtor fee. What is that? Call it 2,300. So on this deal, basically what we're saying is that we'll have our investor, our buyer, whatever terminology you want to use, not us, obviously. We'll have our end buyer service the mortgage payment through a third-party title and escrow company, which is just a fancy way of saying we're going to make that monthly payment on the mortgage for you. It's still going to stay in your name. Another common question I get, a realtor told me the mortgage is not assumable. That's fine, because we're not assuming the mortgage on a subject to. All we're doing is servicing the monthly payment. The mortgage is still going to stay in the seller's name under their social security number until we pay it off.
Okay.
So this is basically saying we're going to service the mortgage. We'll give them this amount of money to move or, to close, and that's it. The seller walks away. We don't ever deal with the seller again unless the buyer stops making payments. And even then, that's not on us. That's between the buyer and the seller and escrow. It has nothing to do with us. A seller finance deal means they have no mortgage. So they want to sell the house for $150,000. We tell them that we'll give them $10,000 at closing. That means now their mortgage for us, because essentially they're the bank now, is going to be $140,000. Typically, we want to do it at 0% interest. Again, we're only going to give them maximum 10% of the purchase price. We still want to make 10, and then I'll just keep this the same. And then let's say it's on market, same 3%. That's $4,500. So what we're saying in this situation is, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. Realtor, whoever you're talking to, and these are for the ones that don't understand seller financing. Normally, our buyer would have to go to the bank, put down a down payment, negotiate a monthly payment at a certain interest rate, and that's how they get their mortgage. In this situation, we're making you the bank. So I'm coming to you. I'm negotiating my down payment with you. I'm negotiating my monthly payment with you, and then I'll just pay you instead of paying the bank. That's basically what a seller financing is. And then a hybrid is when you mix the two. So for example, let's say this one here, they have a mortgage balance of $78,000, same principal and interest, monthly payment, same interest rate, but they want to sell their house for $200,000. So in this situation, obviously the difference between their mortgage of $78,000 and the $200,000 sales price that they want, $112,000, $122,000 is way more than the 10% that we could normally give them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take their asking price of $200,000. We're going to subtract the mortgage balance, which is $78,000. And then we're going to subtract the maximum amount of money we can give them as a down payment, which in this case would be $20,000, because the total purchase price is $200,000. 10% of $200,000 is $20,000. That means that they are seller financing $102,000. Cash to seller is going to be $20,000. Again, we want to make 10. I'll do the exact same payment, and then in this case, the realtor commission would be $6,000. So all we're doing in this situation is paying off the mortgage payment and paying the seller a monthly payment. In this subject to, all we're doing, and by we, I mean the investor, all we're doing is paying the mortgage payment, and that's it. In this situation, all we're doing is paying the seller financing monthly payment, which is essentially our mortgage. And in this situation, we're doing both.
Okay.
Now let's see which one actually works. So first thing I'll do is go to subject to. We're looking at two things. We're looking at that, and we're looking at that. Oh, that's not right. I said 4%, and this was 500. Okay. The cash on cash return is phenomenal on this deal. Now, granted, this is all a mock deal because I made the the rent $2,500. That's not
Yeah.
typical. Cash on cash returns don't usually go that high unless you found some sort of whale. But my entry fee is too high. Not by much, but it's too high. The easiest thing to do, in my opinion, just drop your fee. I mean, who's going to thumb their nose at $9,000? I want 10. No, shut up. Take your $9,000 and boom, there you go. So this deal, assuming all the numbers were legit, absolutely works. So now let's look at a seller finance. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little high. So I'm going to go back to my inputs. I could either negotiate to give them a little bit less as a down payment, or just very simply, because we're making our money on volume, and boom, there we go. We're under 20%. And look at the cash on cash return. Phenomenal. Now, granted, again, I didn't change the taxes. I didn't change the insurance. This is just an example. But this is what you're looking for. Is that number less than 20? And is that number more than, is that number more than 10? That's it. And then let's go to hybrid. Now, hybrid's going to be different. So we've got $500. And then let's say we're going to give the seller $500. So if you notice, we're low. And the reason why we're low is because we're at a higher purchase price. So if we're at a higher purchase price, we can give them more money and still be okay as far as our entry percentage. But look at our cash on cash return. It's the lowest of anyone across the board, even though I kept the monthly payment exactly the same. And the reason being is because we're paying the mortgage payment and we're paying the seller. So that is cutting into the buyer's cash flow, which equals a lower cash on cash return. Again, this deal is all fake, but assuming these numbers are right, it's still a good deal by far. But you will notice a hybrid deal's cash on cash return is always going to be harder to get above 10% because we're paying both. We're paying the monthly payment to the mortgage and we're paying the monthly payment to the seller. Did that answer your question?
It did, yeah.
Okay.
It did. Okay, thank you for going through all that. That is awesome.
Not a problem. My pleasure. Does anybody else have a question? What's up, Rami?
How you doing, boss?
Fantastic. What can I do for you?
Yeah, so something that I've been coming across lately a lot, especially today, I've been getting a lot of more responses that people are interested, but they're talking about lease options. What are the difference between a lease option and owner financing?
So a lease option, the easiest way to understand that is a wrap or a land contract, something like that. Or a lease to own is probably more common. And the only difference between that deal and let's say a subject to or a seller financing is it's closer to buying a car. So how does it go when you buy a car? You go to the dealership, you pick your car, you negotiate your down payment, you negotiate your monthly payment, your interest rate, yada, yada, yada. You make your monthly payment, but you don't own the car. You don't have the title until you pay it all off. A lease option or a wrap is exactly the same way. You're just not you don't own the property. You don't have the deed, and therefore you can't file the taxes on the house. That's the only difference. You can't claim the taxes, and you don't get the deed to the house until you actually pay off what you owe, just like a car. On a subject to, a seller finance, or a hybrid, the end buyer, once the deal closes, the end buyer has the deed to the property. They own the house. They can do the taxes on the property and everything like that. A wrap or a lease option is exactly the same as any other creative deal. You just don't get to have the tax benefits, and you don't get the deed.
So when it comes to what's it called, coming across a lease option, we obviously can't do that because
you can do that.
Okay, so now another question: can we do that, but it can't be a contingent term on a balloon because a balloon requires us to have for the investor to refinance the house, or how does that work?
Yeah, so you can absolutely and I'm going to say this off the bat, it's harder to sell a deal that's a lease contract or a lease option, whatever your terminology you want to use. It's harder to sell those to an investor because an investor wants that tax break from owning that property. They want that. But it's a good option to sell someone like a homestead buyer. So yes, you can sell them, but just know, much like a higher price purchase price, it's going to be a smaller pool. Like it's going to be harder to find those few buyers that want that house to live in it and has the money to close and is okay with the terms. It's possible. It's just harder.
So, question for you. Obviously, it's harder, so it's a smaller pool. To make it more incentivizing for an investor, do we try to get those terms at a point where cash flows at a certain percentage that is more favorable to them? Like instead of 10% like we usually would, it'd be 15 or 16%.
I don't think you'd have to go that high. Maybe let's call it higher than 12. Let's have 12 minimum. And I'm going to be honest with you, it'll probably be more enticing. And let me, before you take this and run with it, let me check with my Dispo team. But I think it would be more enticing to have a lower entry fee than the 12% cash on cash return. But let me verify that before you take that and run with it.
Okay, and then last question, because I know I'm bombarding you with a lot.
I don't care.
Yeah. So last question is in regards to dang. Let me remember. Come back.
See, you spent too much. You guys spend too much time with the whole thank yous, and I appreciate it. Don't want to waste your time. I don't give a damn about all that. I'm here to help you guys. And then you forgot your question. Just say it. I know you guys appreciate it. I'm here. I got it. Nicholas, you had another question? What's up? No? Not another question?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I had my hand up. My bad.
Oh, no worries. Does anybody else have another question? Or Rami, did you remember yours?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it, man. I'm just wrapping my head because it's a.
Do your thing. If the call ends, you can always just DM it to me. That's fine.
Okay, got you. Just give me a second. It's gonna come. Oh my gosh.
Do your thing. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Sean. I just had one. When it comes to sub 2 and hybrids, as far as the debt to income ratio for the seller, does that come off, or is it still there?
So it's still there, but the way that it works. So this is in regards. So okay, let me paint the picture for everyone else who may not understand what you said. The seller still owns the house. It's still in their name on a subject to deal, meaning that monthly payment and that mortgage balance is still on their credit. So if they wanted to go buy another house, buy a car, qualify for a big ass credit card, whatever, that's going to affect their DTI, because as far as anyone is concerned that's running their information, it shows that they still own this house and are still responsible for that payment. That's only for the first 6 months. After a property, and I have to double check, some credit bureaus may be a little different, but typically it's 6 months. After it shows on their credit, because remember, we're putting this through a third party title and escrow company to make sure that everything's legit, paperwork is filed. Once 6 months have passed showing that this mortgage has been serviced by someone else, that DTI falls off. The only caveat to that, it doesn't fall off officially. It's still there. But anyone who's looking at their credit and their whole financial portfolio is going to see, oh, they have a mortgage, but it's being paid by someone else. And it's been over 6 months. Okay, so I don't really have to count that. If it's underwritten by a computer or an algorithm, depending on that algorithm, and if it's got, the right updates or it's got the right software to recognize that, then they could still be declined. And in that case, and it's only happened to me once. I had one client went to go buy a car. They put his information into the computer, and instead of the bank personnel underwriting the deal, it just went through their system. It got declined. He called me upset. I said, no, call the bank, tell a person to actually look at it. He called the bank, or the car dealership guy called the bank, said, no, can you look at this with your own eyes? And then she's like, oh, yeah, it's being serviced. Okay, hold on. And then she sent him an approval because then he qualified. So it's a little bit of hoops on a subject to, but after 6 months, they're good for the most part.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
So remember my question. So I know that we're not supposed to offer a down payment higher than 10% of what the purchase price is. What if the listing price, right? Like the purchase price I gave them is already higher than than the listing price because Deal Sniper gave it to me. And then they counter offer like, hey, we want 10 extra grand, right? Can I then change the down payment since now the purchase price is higher?
You can, but if they're adding $10,000 to the purchase price, that only translates to an extra $1,000 for their down payment because it's still
Gotcha.
10%.
Gotcha. So what like when do we stop? Like, what's the determination of, like, let's say a property is listed for 129. They're like, hey, look, we want 175 under your terms. Like, when do we stop that? You know what I mean? When does it stop making sense?
Oh, that's a lot. And I woke up this morning not feeling good, so I'm already choosing violence. If a real estate agent or a seller has a property that's been on market for 90 plus days and they're looking a gift horse in the mouth by saying, hey, thanks so much for offering more, but give me more, I'm going to tell you, go kick rocks. And the only reason I said it like that is because my mom listens to my videos. I would normally say something much more colorful. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're asking me for more money for a property that sat on market for 90 plus days and I already gave you $20,000 over asking? That's my normal opinion. The actual answer, I think it's weird to go above like 50 grand. I know a lot of people who do creative financing a lot. They disagree with that. Oh, we'll go as high as 100. I buy houses. I'm not paying $300,000 for a $200,000 house, even as a buyer. I'm not. And I'm not cheap, but I think that's too much. I would cap it at 50 grand.
That makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Anybody else have a question?
So just to reiterate, when it comes to lease options, we can do them, but they're less favorable. Do you think we should stray away from doing a balloon payment when it comes to those? I know you probably answered that.
It really depends on the seller. I mean, if the seller wants a balloon, if they're willing to do a creative option, but they want a balloon, as long as it's at least 7 years, and the purchase price is less than 350, I say give it to them.
Gotcha.
And just set the proper expectation. If you guys have a deal, excuse me, if you guys have a deal where, let's say, because I underwrote a couple today where they didn't cash flow. And my response to those were, it's not exactly dead. We could probably do it as a homestead buyer, right? You still have to set the proper expectation. Look, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, this deal does not cash flow. Send him a screenshot. Here, you guys ever want to let a realtor know on a deal, send them this. Obviously, if it's not cash flowing, send them that square. Say, hey, look, check this out. I don't know if my math is off or not, but this deal does not cash flow, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor. So here's what I'm going to do. I do have a small community of homestead buyers and then you just implant the city of your deal in Birmingham that they have money, but not necessarily credit, and they're looking for property. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to push it to them. I'll still only take 2 weeks. If I find one, great. We'll get this thing moved. I'll cover your closing costs. Don't worry about that. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you're right back to where you are right now, just with more information.
And then
that's how I pitch that.
Right. And then
because you want to let them know that if it's a homestead buyer or the deal doesn't cash flow, I'm not guaranteeing I can close this thing, man. Like, that's what you're trying to get across.
Okay, so I had one come across today that I found. Realtor got back to me. It's a family member she's representing. I run the numbers on it, and it's not cash flowing at all because the percentage rate is 9%, right? And the PITI is like 1477. Rent in that area is like 1600, so it's not cash flowing at all, right? That would qualify to be a homestead buyer situation.
Yeah, because what you could do, I mean, there's a lot of people. Especially nowadays with houses expensive and the requirements to qualify, there's a lot of people who have the money. They may have $31,000, $32,000 in order to close on the property, but they don't have the credit or social security number to go through a bank. But if you say, hey, you give me $31,000, you got a property, here's your interest rate, here's your monthly payment, here's your house, and they like it and they can afford it, then yeah, you just sell it to a homestead buyer. It's just harder to find that person who likes the house and also has the money. Because remember, a homestead buyer is going to live in it. They're not renting it out. So they don't give a damn about the cash flow. That's going to be their home. that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, okay. And then to piggyback off of that, let's say there's a property that's cash flowing like it's a stupid amount. Let's say 18-20%.
Mm-hmm.
And the only caveat that they're having is they don't have issues with monthly payments, but just a higher down payment. Could we allow for a higher down payment? We can give a high down payment because there's more spread there. There's more cash flow. It's more enticing to an investor, so they pay a bit more.
I won't say that that's impossible because it's happened before, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's improbable. These investors are already going to try and negotiate with you to get a lower down payment when you're at 10% down. They're already going to try and be like, because they're just like us. Is that the best you can do? What's the best price? I need it at this price. I don't think he's on this call, but Tyler just went through that trying to dispo a deal he locked up a couple weeks ago. It was a land deal. And this guy is just going back and forth with him over $2,000. Because to some people, that's a lot of money. So they're always going to try and negotiate and try and get a better price. So I would say the more attractive it is, the better. Again, you can always try. It is free to try and dispo a deal out. My whole reasoning for this part of the conversation is about setting the proper expectation. You want to let the seller, the realtor, whoever you're dealing with know, hey, I'm going to do my best, but because of this, whether no cash flow or whatever, higher down payment, whatever it is, because of this, I can't guarantee that I'm going to get it done, but I will do everything that I can. That way, if it doesn't work, they're not lighting you up when you cancel the deal. Oh, you promised you were going to do this. You did. No, hold on, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. I came to you specifically and said, I can't guarantee you because of this. And because of this, I had thousands of my investors look at it and they all passed on the deal. There's nothing more I can do. So that's more of a personal thing, setting the proper expectation.
I just want to shout you out, Sean, because ever since I've been telling people I'm a wholesaler, especially realtors, it's been much more pleasant and more positive experiences, to be honest with you. Because it's like we're working together now, rather than it's like, oh, I'm bullshitting. Like, oh, I can't offer this. Like, you know what I mean?
It's always easier to be honest. I mean, shit, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm brutally honest. That's why I don't have any friends. Don't ask me if that dress makes you look fat. Probably. You know what I mean? So just tell the truth. It's just easier. Even down the line, when you guys get it under contract, I mean, think about the alternative. You get it under contract, they think you're buying it, and it's a fire deal, and you got 5 people who want to walk the property. You have to lie on top of lie on top of lie because the realtor's going to be like, well, you had someone walking on Monday. Who are these 4 other people? So you either have to become a good liar or you have to come clean, and you burn the relationship at that point. So yeah, just be honest. I'm glad you're doing that. A lot of people, I can tell some of the people that I talk to, I tell them to be honest and they say that they're going to, and I could hear it in their voice. You're not a good liar. No, you're not. But I know that you are, and I'm glad it's working for you. It's always better to just be honest. Does anyone else have any questions? I can't see the other screen.
Hey, Sean, it's Armand.
What's up, dude?
Hey, just to piggyback, yeah, I have been adding just to wholesaling, not wholesaling, but just say that I have buyers, so that way they know that, hey, I'm not the end buyer. I'm just I'm gonna find a buyer, so that way they kind of know when they respond, they know what I'm trying to do. But my question is, I just got a response from a seller, and I asked him if he has a mortgage, and he said yes. What would you follow up with? Would you just say, what is your mortgage statement, or what is your PITI?
So anytime, are you talking to a realtor or is this a seller?
No, this is the seller, yeah.
Yeah, so I always make things sound, again, it comes with and I don't know if you heard this part or not, it comes with the whole idea of really not caring if I close the deal. And I don't want you guys to think like, oh, Sean doesn't care if we close our deal. No, I want you to close it. I will do everything I can. But deep down inside, I'm not thirsty for this deal, so I don't really care. So when you're asking a seller for their information, the more nonchalant, surfer-like that you can do it, the better. Yeah, okay. Man, if you could just give me, all I need is your approximate mortgage balance, nothing specific. I don't need specifics. But you give me the mortgage balance, the interest rate, and the monthly payment. I'll rewrite some numbers. Give me 15 minutes. I'll shoot you a deal covering that mortgage.
Okay.
Even that just give me your that's all part of it. I don't say like that. That's not a filler word for me, but I include it in there because it just drops. I know how this is going to sound, but it drops their guard. And you
Yeah.
need the seller, the realtor, in any situation when you're selling something, you need them to drop their guard so that you can show them what you need to show them on how you're going to help them. You can't show them effectively if the guard is up. So yes, you may have to do some maneuvering, some tactics to get them to lower their guard. And as long as the information that you're giving is accurate, honest, and professional, I don't feel like using tactics or tricks to get them to lower their guard is a bad thing, because ultimately you're just trying to serve them.
Yes, and you're basically trying to say that, hey, I have other deals I can work on. I don't really care about this deal. If you want to give me the information, you can.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Does anyone else have a question? Okay. All right. Going once.
Hold up, I
Going
was talking to
twice.
myself the entire time. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have a question.
What's up, dude?
Yeah, so I have a homestead buyer situation where the interest rate is just killing the the cash on cash, right?
Okay.
How would I communicate to the realtor, because she already knows that I'm a wholesaler finding buyers. What I was thinking is I was going to tell her, hey, look, this is not cash flowing, so none of my buyers are going to be interested in it. However, I feel like this might be a potential fit for a homestead buyer. Do I tell her that, hey, can you give me the opportunity to lock it up for 2 weeks to find a homestead buyer? And then if I can, yay. If I can't, so be it. Or how would I pitch that to her?
Yeah, you could absolutely do that. Just don't say it the way that you did. You're not asking permission. We don't do that. We're not customer service.
Gotcha.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Mr. or Mrs. Realtor. I looked at this deal. Check your phone. I just sent you a screenshot. As you can see, this thing does not cash flow. It doesn't. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got a very small pool of homestead buyers, people who have money, but for whatever reason can't go through a bank, but they're looking to buy homes. Give me 2 weeks. Let me pitch it to them. No promises, but best case scenario, I find you a buyer for this property. We get this thing locked up. We all get paid. Worst case scenario, you're right where you are right now. The only difference is you'll have some more information to work with. That's how you do it. Or some variation of that. I'm not asking, do you mind if fuck you? No, I'm locking this up. We're either going to do it this way or this way. Which one do you want to do it?
Got you. And so now my bigger question comes from,
Sorry, Mom.
I know
Go ahead.
I know your Dispo team is what's it called, has like its ways of finding buyers. I know homestead buyers are a small pool. What would you recommend in order to say I do lock this up? How would I help to find a homestead buyer? Am I going on Facebook groups and trying to find groups of people that I know wouldn't have much luck the traditional route, or how would I go about finding a homestead buyer?
Now, this is a non-cash flowing deal, right?
Yeah, it's not cash flowing at all. It doesn't cash flow.
Facebook Marketplace.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Go to Facebook Marketplace. You can do it in groups if you find a creative financing group in the city that you're marketing the deal. You can do that if you want to do Facebook groups. If not, filter the city that your deal is in and just do Facebook Marketplace. It'd be much easier. You're still muted, by the way, if you didn't know.
Okay, yeah, I was talking to myself again. So
I figured. It's all right.
Yeah, when it comes to that, right? So let's say you find a homestead buyer and all that, for their peace of mind, because obviously if I'm telling somebody, hey, look, I'm gonna lock this up, I'm gonna look at my small pool of buyers that can't go through a bank or whatnot. Does this agreement still have a deed in lieu that I can go out and give them that peace of mind with?
Yeah. Any contract that we do, whether it goes to a homestead buyer or an investor, the deed in lieu is there. And just so we're on the same page, everyone, deed in lieu, that's a nationwide law. So whether it's in our contract or not, which it is, but whether it's in our contract or not, it still goes into effect. The reason why we put it in the contract is so that we can, one, inform people, because most people don't know that exists, and it does give them peace of mind. And two, when our buyer sees that contract and then signs the assignment contract, they're signing away there. Hey, I completely understand. If I don't make this payment, I lose the house and can't fight it. That's the confidence that you can give to the seller. Like, look, I know it's going to be inconvenient, but the literal worst thing that can happen is you get the property back and you get to sell it to somebody else and you've gotten some money out of it. That's the worst case scenario because of this deed in lieu clause. The buyer's automatically signing away their rights to fight this. They've already acknowledged it. If they don't make that payment, depending on the state that you're in, most states is 2 weeks. Some states are 30 days. Worst case scenario, in anywhere from 15 to 45 days, that property is deeded back into your name. You get to keep the money that the seller or that the buyer has given you up until that point. The down payment you get to keep. If the buyer did any repairs on the property, those are yours free and clear. And if there's a tenant in there, that tenant, the monthly rent, and the deposit they put down are now yours. And you can literally sell this property to somebody else the very next day after it's back in your name. That's your protection. And there's nothing the buyer can do about it. This stuff is cool, huh? You're muted again if you're talking.
Sorry, I'm driving.
Oh, shit. No, focus on that.
No, you're good. No, so that's why I keep fucking muting, is because I'm just driving. I'm just like, shit.
Sorry, Mom. Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Perfect. Michael, what can I do for you?
Hi, sorry, I just joined right now.
No worries.
How long do we usually do the amortization or like the balloon payment for? Was it like 7 to 10 years you were saying?
The minimum balloon, and I want to say this to you guys so you guys know to dig your heels in with balloons. Investors don't like balloons. The reason why they don't like balloons is because if you get the deal locked up relatively close to what Deal Sniper says, that's a 0% interest deal, meaning they're cash flowing the most that they're going to be able to cash flow. The moment the balloon is due, unless the buyer has liquid cash on hand to pay the seller off, they're going to have to refinance the property. Refinancing the property means they're going to have to get a mortgage and they're going to have an interest rate, which may or may not cut into their cash flow. So investors don't like balloons. So when I tell you guys your minimum is 7 years, which by the way, Michael, it's 7 years. It's 7 years as long as your purchase price is lower than $350,000.
Okay.
But you guys really need to dig your heels in when it comes to that sort of thing, because again, investors don't like balloons. So the longer, the better. I'm not expecting anyone to get no balloon. That would be cool. But the higher, the better.
Okay. But ideally, we shouldn't even be offering to just go pure 0% interest the whole time.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. No, I just got off a call with one of the realtors. I don't know if he's going to go for it, but he was asking about that. And I was like, it'll probably have to be somewhere between 7 to 10 years. But I'm not sure if they're going to go for that. I don't think they want to do the pure owner finance for the whole entire term, but he's going to ask anyways, the seller.
I mean, it's one of these things where, and when I tell you guys this next part, the realtor doesn't have as much power. Like I see you guys in the main chat in Discord, just dogging on these realtors. They can't, I mean, some of them are jerks. Some of them are jerks. They don't like wholesalers or they don't like creative financing for personal reasons. But a lot of times, most times, if the realtor says no, it's not the realtor's choice. It's the seller's choice. So dogging on them doesn't really do anything. If they would love to get the house sold, but it's not up to them. It's up to the seller. But when it comes to doing these terms, I don't ever mention the word down payment. I don't ever mention the word balloon. When I give a creative financing offer, if I'm on the phone, and this is to a seller or a realtor, and there'll be a little deviation in the two, it's going to sound something like, look, you guys have had this property listed for X amount of days. Nobody's biting. Why? What am I missing? Because based off the photos, if the house, and then you just talk about the house. If the house is in good shape, based off the photos, I mean, the house looks immaculate. Why has it been on market for so long? What am I missing? Did you guys have like bodies in the basement? Is the foundation crumbling and I just can't tell in the photos? What's the deal? And then they'll tell you. It doesn't matter what they say, but listen to it because you're going to have to use that later. And then once they tell me why they feel it hasn't sold, then that's when I reiterate my offer. Because remember, you're not going to be on the phone with the realtor unless they saw your offer and they want to talk about it. And that's when I usually hit them with the I'm a wholesaler thing. But I don't just come out and say I'm a wholesaler. It depends on how you everything is all about packaging.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what, Michael. You know, if your property's been listed for a long time, I'm just trying to get this thing sold. I'm not trying to cut you out of the deal in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, I'll probably end up covering not only the buyer side of your commission, but at least a portion of the seller side if I can build it into the deal, if not the whole thing. So here's what I'm proposing. I've got 8 buyers in this city that exclusively deal with me. They hire me, they send me to find them deals like this. And if we can get this thing locked up, similar to the terms that I sent you, I've got a little bit of wiggle room, not much, but if we can get it locked up at those terms or very close, I know for a fact 5 of my buyers would jump all over this deal. All I'm asking you for is 2 weeks under contract so that I can secure my interest in the transaction. I got to get paid. Let me push this to my buyers. I'll push it to the 5 that I know would love this deal. Once I figure out, once I determine, once they let me know, however you want to say it, once I determine which one of my buyers wants to move forward, I'll submit EMD and I'll submit proof of funds 48 hours later, and we'll get this thing sold. Best case scenario, I'll get one of my buyers to take this deal down and we all get paid. Worst case scenario, you're in the exact same spot as you are now, just with a little more information. Because whatever my buyers say, good, bad, or in between, I'll let you know. And then you can talk to your sellers and see if you guys can maneuver, whether it works for us or not.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not mentioning anything about the offer. If they ask, then I'll tell them, what's the term? Typically, I have this on a 30-year term, but we're going to get you guys paid off in 10 to 12 years. Best I can do is 7. Be honest. If you're talking with a realtor, tell them the truth. Tell them the score. Best I can do is 7 years. If you can get them to take 7 years, we can get this done. But what about the monthly payment? Push it into the calculator. Hold on 1 second. Click, 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 click. The most I can give them is X, Y, and Z as a monthly payment in order for this deal to still be attractive to my investors. What about the down payment? Most I can do is 10% of the purchase price. But I don't say that. Most I can do is $20,000. Whatever 10% is, that's what I say.
Okay. Understand.
I just tell them straight. This is how it is. You guys want to work together? Let's work together. If not, I'm just going to offer this to one of your colleagues in their listings and, get them paid. It's up to you. No, I don't say that, but that's my mentality when I'm giving this information. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No worries. Anybody else have a question?
Yes. So I've been doing a lot of trial and error when it comes to my emails lately, and I feel like I'm getting really close to that. Not perfect email, but that email that's going to get me the most responses, and I have been getting a lot more responses. Question for you. A lot of the realtors that I work with or I send offers to, they either don't know what seller financing is, or they're too embarrassed to ask because of just they don't know and they don't want to seem stupid, so they're not going to tell you, hey, can you explain this to me? Because usually the younger realtors are the ones that are calling you and having a conversation, and hey, this is the first time I've ever done a deal like this, can you explain to me how it usually goes or what the process is like? Sure. And then I go ahead, we have a conversation, they have a better understanding. Great, we're on the same page, you're going to let me know. But then the opposite is also true. You have a lot of these older dinosaur realtors that just don't know nothing about nothing and just, hey, give me cash or go to the bank and get a loan, and that's it. Do you think in order to bypass that, I should add something, or what would you add to an email to let them to briefly explain what seller financing is, or subject to, or all that creative stuff?
I wouldn't. I mean, you can. You absolutely can. Remember, my mindset and my crazy 6 personalities is different than most people. If someone says no to me, I don't waste any time trying to make them fit the mold. I'll just go find someone who will. That's an extreme way of doing it. But for someone who doesn't have a whole lot of time, like I don't have, I gotta make stuff move. I gotta get off the phone quick. So I necessarily wouldn't. What you could add is like what Billy adds. I think that's who's doing it. He'll add, and if you guys want to write this down, I'll talk slow. This is the same thing I'm going to post in the Discord later. But he'll add to the bottom of his offer, just to be on the same page, this is a seller financing deal. Here's the breakdown. He'll break it down again in a paragraph, just the way that I would normally say it. Here's the breakdown. I'm willing to give them, you know, X amount of dollars as a down payment. I'm willing to give them up to this amount of money as a monthly payment, and I can get you guys all paid off in 10 to 12 years. My minimum, just so you know, is 7. Also, I've got 5 or 6 buyers in this area that are interested in deals like this. They hire me to find deals like this. I know for a fact 3 of them would be very interested in this deal. And I have no intention of cutting you out of the deal whatsoever. Quite the opposite. I'm actually going to, at the very least, pay the buyer side of the commission for you, if not the seller side, as long as I can fit it into the deal. Please let me know if you have any questions. If they're into seller financing, they're going to be completely okay with that answer. If they're just completely against it, or more likely, they talked to the seller ahead of time and they said, hey, are you interested in any seller financing if someone offers that? If the seller says no, they're just going to shoot you down, which is fine. Just move on to another deal. But those are the things that you can do to add to that email in order to kind of shift it in a more positive direction. But if they're into it, they're into it. If they're not, they're not. And then another thing that you can do, if you kind of getting the idea that maybe they don't understand seller financing, very simple question. Hey, real quick, have you ever done a seller financing deal, or would you like me to walk you through it, kind of how it works? You just say it's super neutral tone. If they need you to walk them through it, that's a perfect opening. They'll take it. If they understand it, they'll say, no, I pretty much got it. I've done this before. And if they don't like it, they'll say, no, the seller doesn't want to do that, but thanks anyway. And then that's it. Move on to the next.
Sounds good.
Awesome, awesome. Does anyone else have a question? Is anyone accidentally muted and thinks that I can hear them? Okay, going once, going twice. All right, well, that is it for tonight. Hour and 45-minute training. That's not bad. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. There's a lot of people in the chat that can answer your question. If I can't, as you guys can tell from this call, I'm still not feeling 100%, and I actually have a fight tonight. So I won't be available after about 7:30 for a few hours. But you can always shoot your message in the chat, or you can DM it to me if it's something like that, and I'll answer your question as soon as I can. Worst case scenario, it'll be first thing in the morning. You guys have an absolute fantastic night. Let me know if you need anything, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.